What's up, guys? Sparring Cat, and in today's Battle Cats video, I am ranking black enemies from strongest to weakest, so let's get right into it. Starting off, we have the Chocolate Dog, who is pretty weak. He has a good amount of health, but he has nothing else, and you could remove him with a couple shots, so he will go into the easy tier. Next, Dark Laser has over 1,000,000 health and a good amount of damage and DPS, but there's a lot of counters to her, so I'll place her in moderate. Auto Smack You. He's tanky. He does some damage. I'm going to say he's easy. He serves as a bit of a shield, but you can get rid of him pretty quickly, and he doesn't do a lot of damage. Alright, next we have Neandum, Director Kurosawa here. And he has 700 range, but he has relatively low health and damage. So for that reason, I'm going to place him in the back in the moderate. Alright, next we have Black Doge, who drops a lot of money, has a little bit of offense, could survive a few hits off your weaker units. He's a meat shield for the other side. In large groups, it could be annoying, but in general, they'll go in easy. All of these units are just weak. They're event units, and almost anything you have can one-shot them. Moving on, Gory. In higher magnifications, he could rip through your lineups, but most cases, they're not too strong. At a higher magnification, they could be difficult, but they're still easy most times, so I'll put them in easy. Next, we have Tuxedo Gory. He's pretty strong, but that's only at his higher magnifications. When he isn't highly magnified, he isn't too big of a threat, so I'll place him in moderate. He could have a lot of health and damage if he's given the opportunity, though. Next, we have the Killer Cat, who is pretty weak. I'll say it's easy. Next, we have Akuma, who is from the Street Fighters event, and he's powerful. His stats, at first glance, are pretty strong, and they are. He's essentially Dancer Cat with more damage, and he has a good amount of range. A lot of range, actually, so that means you're going to need to use either some perfectly timed rushers to knock him back because he does have a lot of knockbacks, or you have to use backliners that could control him by freezing him, or maybe, I'm not even sure if he's immune to freeze or not, but what you need is backliners that can nuke him. So I'll place him in difficult. He could be very difficult for some players, but he's a good, solid enemy. Alright, next we have the Behemoth Elephant, who is pretty strong. I'm going to place him in difficult. Normal Elephant, it does have a good amount of health. It has some damage. It doesn't attack too often, and it has one knockback, so it fills the role of a backliner in a pretty interesting way. He will go in moderate. Next, we have this beautiful unit, who will go into the easy tier. Another event unit that is pretty easy to take down. He has decent stats, but you could rush him and kill him pretty easily. Next, we have Behemoth Gory, and he's pretty strong. He could rip through some front lines, so I will give him difficult. We also have Razorback, who, in certain stages, if there's only one boar, you could take care of him, and he's probably a moderate there. But most cases, he comes out with other boars, and that results in your front lines getting destroyed pretty easily. So I'll put him in difficult because the majority of the time, he's with other boars. Next, we have this Doggy Rhino, or whoever. Not super strong, has a lot of health, but offense-wise, it isn't too strong. I don't know, I'm going to place it into the very end of moderate. Next up, we have this lovely Dachshund, who you could pretty much one-shot with any rusher, even though it might be hard to land a shot perfectly. A level 40 Awakened Bahamut Cat could survive a hit from her and one-shot her, so with that, I would place her in easy. Doesn't do too much if you can get rid of her quickly. Next, we have Shadowboxer, who these units are very annoying. Shadowboxers usually come in large groups. They have a lot of DPS, and when they're mixed with other black enemies, then there's a lot of offense that comes into that. So they'll go in moderate. More times than not, they're manageable. Next, we have this, who's an event enemy. He will go in easy. Assassin Bear. As long as you have your cat cannon, you're good. If you don't have your cat cannon, then maybe a long range unit will be able to take care of it, but very easy if you have a cat cannon. If you don't, you might lose the round, especially depending on where you're on the game, but make sure to have a cat cannon on you at all times if these guys are expected in the stages. Also, if you take too long, then they will come out, so be prepared. I'll leave him in easy because he doesn't come out often, and when he does, most people have a cat cannon, but if they don't, then he presents some problems. Next, we have Tacky, who is pretty strong, but more annoying than strong. It has a good amount of health and damage, but if you rush it, you can get rid of it pretty quickly. I'll place it in the very back end of moderate. I mean, you could say that he's really annoying, but just try to break a gap, rush him. He is very annoying, but the stats aren't necessarily uncomprehendable. Next up, we have Toucan, who is decently strong when it comes out in numbers, but when it doesn't come out in numbers, it's pretty manageable. Bring a wave blocker like Octopus Cat, and I'll say he's in the easy category. All right, next we have these 4 bears, this group of bears, and they're just very easy. Honestly, I'll just give them that. They're not strong at all. Next we have Baco. Now, this unit, I hate this unit. I'll just be honest. The first stage I was able to beat, but the one where they start spamming these is a work in progress. One by itself with frontliners in front of it is pretty hard to beat, but when they come out in groups, it's almost impossible. So one by itself, it's a difficult unit, but that might be our first very difficult. And Akuna, you could also make a case for very difficult because the stats are definitely there. So I will put him there. You could alternate them, but Akuna is a pretty strong unit. Next, we have the Black Cyclone, who, like all the Cyclones, has a lot of DPS, a lot of health, but a lot of counters as well. So, although the Cyclone isn't necessarily a super difficult unit, its stats are pretty powerful. If you bring the right units, you can nullify it down a lot, but I'll put it in the upper end, top of moderate. It could be difficult for some players without the correct counters, but Cyclones are usually manageable. Next, we have this unit. Very easy. Another one of these event units. I would throw the wind in there too. And that'll probably be the last of the very easies, as you can see from the next 3. So, very strong unit here. I just misclicked. My bad. So, very strong unit here. Resembles there's another one similar to it. But this unit, you got to make sure that you can get rushers and deal damage, and you need the resist weakened or immune to weaken because he will weaken your units down a lot. And as an Advent boss, he's probably in the middle Advent boss wise. I would put him at the upper end of difficult, but with the right strategy, you could beat him. If you don't have the right strategy or the right units, then go luck, because he does a lot of damage. He weakens all of your units, and he has millions of health. So play him out correctly, and he's probably a moderate if you play him out correctly. If you don't play him out correctly, he's a pain. We have the Black Bun Bun here, who is decently strong, but there are a million counters to Bunbuns. So I'll place him in the moderate tier. His stats aren't bad. He's a rusher, but by the time you face him, you've probably fought the other Bunbun and know what to expect. So bring in anti-black and floating units. Bring in a lot of meat shields for him. And last but not least, oh, this unit right here. Represents the behemoths perfectly. Ruthless. He does a lot of damage. He could completely destroy your front lines. I would place him at the top end of difficult, somewhere in there. But this is my list. If you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and turn notifications on. And also, let me know what you think of the list. If you agree, disagree, want to add anything to it, make sure to leave a comment down below, as discussions are encouraged. I like talking about the ratings and stuff and seeing what the viewers think. Sparring Cat signing off. See you in the next one.